So this is the Church of St Thomas's in Aunsby, which is a village in Lincolnshire. It was rebuilt and repaired in 1861 and sits right in the centre of the village. Hey, it's Gav from Hiking for Health and welcome to another video. Well, today I'm out in the snow. It's a cold one today, about -2, and the snow that fell recently has, well, it's just frozen, so there's lots of it about and it will make for a good walk. So it's a short one today. I'm going through 3 hamlets and each one has a church, so hopefully it'll stay nice and crisp and fresh, and then I'll end up somewhere for a coffee and a cake, no doubt. Okay, let's get going. So today's route begins in the village of Aunsby in Lincolnshire, and then it leads me through to Osbournby and across to Willoughby, then Dembleby, and then back to Aunsby. It's a lovely route, lots to see and great views. It's quite strange seeing all of the autumn colour still with all this snow. Usually the trees are bare by the time the snow arrives, and all the deciduous trees are into hibernation for the season. Whew. It's certainly a crisp one today. And the moon's still out. Might just be able to make out the top of Osbournby Church in the distance. She's just there. So just up here there's a nice bench with a nice view, perfect for a cup of coffee and a break before making my way back down into Osbournby and then across to Willoughby. So unfortunately, I think I might need to look at getting some new hiking boots in the future. My Meindl Merans at the moment are unfortunately letting in water, but they've been absolutely brilliant. Had them about 5 years. I just wish they'd lasted longer. Maybe I could have looked after them better. but it's on a seam where the boot moves, and it's come undone, and that's where it's letting in water. There's nothing like getting out in the fresh air. Okay, here's the bench. So this is going to be the view for my coffee, which is not too shabby at all. At the foot of the hill is a bench in memory of Ted Cam, 1930 to 2021, and the bench flips over so it protects the seat. Somebody's put a smiley face, look. Another place to stay for a coffee, but I've only just had one. You might notice in my videos there's a bit of a pattern with coffees. You just can't beat it on a cold, wintry day. And if you've got a stew in the slow cooker at home, even better. I realised I messed up earlier.
What?
I was just filming. Do you want this to be on the video? I was doing my talky bit. Right, I realised earlier that I messed up because I said Silt Willoughby and it's actually Scott Willoughby. A difference of about, well, 5 or 6 miles. What do you reckon? If we'd have walked to Silt Willoughby, that would be quite a way, wouldn't it? That's where the garden centre is. But Scott Willoughby, very similar name, is a tiny hamlet on the route with an old church, and I believe that church is the smallest active church in Lincolnshire. Oh, that's a nice sky. Very wintry feel, even though it's autumn. So this path now leads into Osbournby. I'm not going to linger too long, as a coffee and a cake's got my name on it at the garden centre at Silt Willoughby, not Scott Willoughby. So this is the church at Aunsby, dedicated to St. Peter and St. Paul. It was built in 1320, but on the site of an earlier church from the 11th century. So very historical in here. It's quite a building for the size of the village. In the belfry are the following rules. Interesting. Let's see if we can get in. Okay, what's through here? Now, some of these churches are on the route. That one at Dembleby I'm going to in a minute. That one was the one I said in the route, but I'm not actually going there. It's Scott Willoughby. Right, off we go. It's an interesting cottage and it's just sold. In my recent Bimbrook video, I came across a working telephone box and I mentioned that most of them nowadays are used for little libraries, or they've got defibrillators in. A part of our English heritage. Right, the next stop is Scott Willoughby Church, which is just up this lane, out of Osbournby. And then it's on to Dembleby and back to Aunsby. Here is Osbournby House. Which I'm sure has been in the village for many a year. Hey up, I spy with my little eye. And he's with his friends. Now, just in the distance here, there's a bench, and I've sat on this many a time with a coffee, and it's got a lovely message on the front. Have a look at this. Nothing is worth more than this day. And I remember when it was brand new, and there were lots of games on the top, and there used to be, it's still there, a little bag with chess pieces in it, so you can sit and play these games. But what a contrast with all these autumn leaves and the snow in the background. So remember that, nothing is worth more than this day. I saw something recently. What?
Start it again.
No, I'm going to keep it on. Nothing is worth more than this day. Oh, here we go. I should have just come on my own. So that's a good message, that. Nothing is worth more than this day. I saw something recently. It said if you had the option of having £1 million, but it meant that you wouldn't wake up the next day, would you take it? And the answer is, of course, no. So you're saying that waking up tomorrow is more important than having £1 million? Of course it is. Life is what's important. Every day, time. Time is the currency of life. And if you've got happiness in your heart, you're the richest man. In the distance is the church at Scott Willoughby. I think it was built in 1826. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll put the date on the screen. And it's a tiny hamlet. It has the, I think I've already mentioned this, but it has the smallest in-use church in the county. And the population of the hamlet has apparently declined a lot in recent years. It used to be a lot bigger. And they think that the site of the church had an older church upon it at some point. Has a single bell cote. I've never known this church to be open, so I very much doubt it will be. Well, it is. This is the smallest church in the county of Lincolnshire. It was rebuilt in 1826 and altered twice later in the 19th century. Inside, the chancel arch contains a stone with Anglo-Saxon interlaced carving. In the Sleaford area, there are 3 places named Willoughby, West, Scott and Silk. The place name probably means place amongst the willows. Here's the font. Well, it's a tiny one. There's a lot of character. This is the altar. So this is the village of Dembleby. You can just make out the church there through the trees. That's a lovely building. What a lovely house. Okay, so here we have the Church of St. Lucia. It was consecrated in 1868. The old church was taken down 1867. The vestry of this current church was built with the what was left of the old church. Here's the test, is it open? Not today. There's still a lot of this autumn foliage about. Right, there is a public footpath that heads to the right, and then it's a short walk up to the village of Aunsby where I'm parked. It's an interesting property and it's for sale. There you go, if you fancy a cottage in the village of Aunsby, this one's just here. Right, I'm now back in the village of Aunsby, and that concludes the walk for today. Thanks for watching and following me on this hike out to see lots of different churches today. Whatever you're doing in this weather, keep safe, look after yourselves, and I'll see you on another video. Take care and all the best. Yay, it didn't fall over.